So this week's content is going to be focused on our top movers, as opposed to last week where it was specifically topic oriented around the strikes for John Deere and Kellogg. This week we're going to be taking a look at a couple different companies that are using a ESG focus in their operations in a few different ways. So in the days since the content was written, GE dropped off our top movers list here a little bit. So I'm going to start with them just real briefly, since they committed to building wind turbines in the United Kingdom. They've been filling orders, the Netherlands and Germany for renewable wind projects there. And this week they recently filled a huge order for some more wind turbines for two Dutch companies. So it's one way that companies like GE and Suncorp Marine from a couple of weeks ago are the capital goods companies are profiting from renewable energy development. So it's not just the energy companies, but it's also the capital goods behind it. Um, the one big one was Honda. They're committing to all electric vehicles by 2030. This is an increase in their timeline, which was 2040 originally. So we can get new electric cars. They also had a really interesting um, initiative where they're working with an Italian 3D printing company, and they're making 3D printed concept vehicles out of clay to reduce. Yeah, here it is. Honda and Wasp work together to create more sustainable vehicles using clay 3D printing. So they're also, not just focusing on electric vehicles, but they're focusing on, interesting, kind of novel ways to reduce waste and be more efficient. With a lot of the electric vehicle companies, supply chain and battery storage issues were something that concerned them, where they're going to get the materials for batteries and for production. So, little things like this that start out as a novelty, they can, go a long way when they, maybe can scale it up. So Honda had two interesting things this week that put them in the top movers category. And then the other company that stood out was eBay. They made some further commitments around their emissions, not just scope one, but scope two and three. A few months ago, we covered them because they were building, they were had a solar agreement with BP. They're going to be purchasing renewable energy. So there's scope three emissions is kind of like the final frontier for emissions because it's downstream. For a company that ships a lot of stuff, that's a hard one to address. So I thought it was interesting that they're starting to address scope three emissions as well. So the three companies we highlighted this week, GE, eBay, and Honda, they're all kind of using ESG factors in their operations. And it seems like we're seeing the theme where ESG is becoming the norm rather than the exception when companies are making strategic decisions in their operations. So as opposed to last week where it was specific topic focused on human capital, this week we're using our top movers to take a look at a few interesting companies that stood out.